The 2022 Black History Month theme focuses on the importance of Black health and wellness. Self-determination, grassroots organizations, community and social support initiatives have built community clinics, hospitals, medical and nursing schools, and provided spaces for African Americans to counter economic and health disparities found at mainstream institutions. Public and community health have led to a rise in preventive and mental health care while exploring other dietary options such as the vegetarian lifestyle, gardening, and physical exercise. We are determined to create a platform that shines a light on the multiple facets of Black health and wellness through education and activism. Our African American communities must look to the past to provide the light for our future by embracing our ancestors' rituals, traditions, and healing modalities. This is Our Black History 2022.
What's up, family? I'm Mayor Derrick Wood here at the town of Dumfries, the oldest continuously chartered town in the state of Virginia, for those who didn't know. And in Black history, we are home of John Wilmer Porter, who was the first Black elected in the state of Virginia post-Reconstruction. Welcome to our Black History program. I know you got a nice warm welcome, but this theme I think is fitting to the town of Dumfries. It's Black health and wellness. And you got to understand that it's so central around to us in the town of Dumfries that we've created policies and we've done a lot over the last couple years in the place of Black health and wellness. What do we do? I'm glad you asked. Some of the things that we've done and some of the things that we plan to do deals around us being a HEAL community. What does HEAL stand for? Healthy eating, active living. I think part of health and wellness in our community is, in the Black community, we know that diabetes is an issue, high blood pressure, all kinds of things that we don't discuss and we don't talk about, but is a problem. And it's probably because we don't have access to healthier food options because of the cost. When town of Dumfries, this is breaking news if you haven't read your newsletter or you haven't got the survey, but we're planning to roll out and bring back our Dumfries Farmers Markets this spring. What else have we done in the area of wellness? We have been designated a dementia-friendly community by Friends of the Dementia. And on top of that, when the wintertime came and your lights went out in certain neighborhoods and the snow caused it, we partnered with Prince William County Supervisor Bailey's office, and we started to provide those warming centers where people could come and actually get warm. Every third Friday, in the areas of health and wellness for our seniors, we provide them a meal, as well as when this whole thing is over and we can get together, a place for them to come and fellowship and to have some type of awareness with each other. Now, health and wellness is so important. We've seen all kinds of news articles and things that's went over in the past, but it's important that we take care of ourselves, not only physically, but also mental. And I think the mental aspect is one of those things in the Black community that we haven't been talking about. We're seeing it become more mainstream. If you're a young millennial, you'll probably hear the Breakfast Club talk a lot more about it. There's a guy called Shalimar the God. He's always talking about his mental health and going to therapy. Therapy is okay. It's helping you deal with some of the pains and the issues of your past. And you're going to hear some therapists, or you're going to hear some people come on later on and really have a great discussion around Black health and wellness as a total person, as a total body. And so what is Black history and why is it important? Black history is important because of this celebration offers us an opportunity to really reimagine what's possible and what lies ahead. Remember, you don't see what's there in life, you see what you've been programmed to see. And history is written from whoever is telling the story. And so this was created by Carter G. Woodson because he didn't want our lasting images of Black history to be that we were slaves, that we were brought over on the Mayflower, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Because that's not who came over to this country. Who came over to this country were doctors. They were mathematicians. They were lawyers. They were mothers. They were fathers. And so sit back. I want you to enjoy this program. Take time right now. I don't know if I told you this, but I'm going to tell you again, share this with somebody. Don't just watch this program by yourself. And I look forward to seeing you a little bit later.
Greeting, my brothers and sisters in creation. So happy to join you on this wonderful occasion. Let us pray. Lord, in this holy hour, we bring ourselves into your presence. To you, we offer our prayers, our praise, and our supplication. Today, we celebrate Black History Month and honor our culture. We remember the legacy of those who came before us, who not only paved the way, but carried the bricks on broken backs that built this nation. We remember the songs, stories, fiery hopes of old men, little girls, grannies, midwives, marvelous musicians, great orators and leaders, entrepreneurs and innovators, those who are earth-toned brown, fair-skinned like the sands of Egypt. We are kings and queens. We are descendants of royalty. Lord, when it seems that life is too hard living, help us to remember that you are the great I am, our source of strength and purpose for each new day. Help us in our advocacy to fight against voter suppression and injustices in our world, and if necessary, cause us to get in good trouble. To honor you with our work for justice, healing, peace in our day. Help us as we labor to be one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God, help us to value diversity beyond variety. Help us to value diversity with a vision for a progressive future that acknowledges our strengths together, as well as the power, creativity, ideas, and part that we all bring when we are all welcome to the table to taste and see that you are good. And so, Lord, help us to sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Help us to sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. We ask these blessings in your name and for your sake. Amen and amen.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listing skies. Let it resound loud as a rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Hi, I'm Virginia Senator Mark Warner, and I want to thank the town of Dumfries for focusing in Black History Month on health and wellness. We all know the last couple years from COVID has played havoc with all our lives, whether it be physical health, mental health, and too often that has played a disproportionate impact on people of color. So I think it is truly appropriate that health and wellness for the Black community, for every community in Virginia, is so terribly important, and I commend the town for this effort.
Hi, Congressman Gerry Connolly, proud to represent Virginia's 11th Congressional District in the United States House of Representatives. And I want to thank Mayor Wood and the entire Dumfries Town Council for inviting me to participate again in the annual Black History Month event. Though we're not together in person, there's still much for all of us to celebrate. This year's Black History Month theme is Black Health and Wellness. With this theme, there are many categories we as a society need directly to address. Healthcare access, environmental racism, maternal mortality, and the stigma around mental health are a few of the crucial issues we've got to address in order to ensure the health and wellness of the Black community especially, and that they're being appropriately cared for. Several of the issues faced derive from deep systemic racism that's been entrenched in all too many of our institutions throughout our society. We've witnessed the failure of many of those institutions in protecting the health and wellness of the minority community during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Overcrowded housing, poor working conditions, lack of access to quality health care have all contributed to a much higher morbidity and mortality rate in minority communities than in the white community during this pandemic. With the latest COVID variant, the rate of infections has been twice as high among the Black population as compared to the white population, and hospitalization rates were the very highest among the Black community. The Black community accounts for 19% of COVID-19 deaths, but is only 12% of the US population. A statistic like that is unacceptable and shows the importance of equitable policies to care for others and to save lives. Health equity is a must to ensure that all members of society equally enjoy a fair and just opportunity to public health. We must continue to advocate for change for the health and wellness of the Black community because it will save lives, and it's the right thing to do. Public health policies and programs centered around the specific needs of communities can promote health equity, and I'm proud to continue my support in Congress for those changes. I look forward to our continued work together, making sure your voices are heard and the needed changes will come. Thank you again to the town of Dumfries for inviting me to Black History Month celebrations. Please stay well and be safe, and we'll see each other in person soon. God bless.
Hi, I'm Supervisor Andrea Bailey, and I serve as your supervisor here in the Potomac District on the Board of County Supervisors. Thank you so much for inviting me to your Black History Month program. It's important as we celebrate that we come together and understand that it's imperative that your theme that you deem necessary this year, health and wellness, is practiced each and every day. Dumfries, I need you to continue to work with me in partnership as we make the Potomac District even better than it's ever been before. But we can't do it unless we're building healthy, strong, and well families. So continue to celebrate the goodness of the first township in the state of Virginia, but continue to celebrate our culture as we protect our health, our wellness, and we build stronger families here in the Dumfries Township. Happy Black History Month, and thank you again.
Hi, I'm Reverend Cozy Bailey, President of the Prince William branch of the NAACP, and I'm very happy to be a part of the Town of Dumfries Black History Month celebration for 2022. The Town of Dumfries has contributed richly to Black history within the Commonwealth of Virginia, as they have in the past had Mayor William Porter and now our Mayor Derrick Wood. The Town of Dumfries has partnered with the NAACP on a variety of projects in the past. During the early portions of the pandemic in 2022, the first COVID-19 testing that took place for underserved and people of color took place in the Town of Dumfries. And so it is appropriate this year that we remember that, as our theme is Black Health and Family. So once again, thank you very much for allowing the NAACP to be a part of this momentous celebration, and happy Black History Month to all in the Town of Dumfries.
Hi, my name is Yvette Ragland, and I am the events coordinator for the Town of Dumfries. I have Councilwoman Selonia Miles here with me today. So Ms. Miles, I have a couple of questions that I would like to ask you about our Black History theme. And is there anything that you can tell us about the history of Dumfries?
Yeah, well, absolutely, Yvette, and thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to come sit with you and get a chance to talk to you. And I would just like to say that Black history, is so important, and it's important. It ought to be celebrated and learned about not only this month, but every month. But Black history is key to the Town of Dumfries. One key fact: the Town of Dumfries elected the first African American to ever hold office in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and that is Wilmer Porter.
Yes.
So from that example and head on, we have set an example for the Commonwealth and for this country as a whole. So that's something that we're definitely very proud of, and we continue to set trails. The Town of Dumfries right now has an entire African American council. So that's something that we're also very proud of.
Yes.
Black history is alive and well in the Town of Dumfries, so we're very proud of that. But again, it's something that we ought to celebrate and amplify, not only this month, but throughout the year and throughout the years. So I'm ready. Hit me with your questions.
Amazing. Okay, the first question I would like to ask you is, what do you think is the most pressing health issue for people of color?
Well, there are a lot of health issues that face us. I think that we face the same health issues that society as a whole face. But one area that I would like to amplify would be the area of mental health. I don't think that we necessarily suffer any more than any other group, but it's something that we need to magnify and hone in on, especially coming out of this pandemic. I think that we need to explore our resources. We need to inform our communities of the resources that are available for individuals who may be struggling to cope during this time. And we need to also let them know that there's no shame in getting help. If you need help, get it. It's no different than if you have a heart condition, you go see a cardiologist. If you have a migraine situation, you go see a neurologist. If you have anything that's going on in your mental health, you'll go see a mental health specialist. And we need to let them know that it should be normalized, and it should also be celebrated, because early intervention is key, as it is with any other condition. So that's something I would like to amplify.
All right, thank you so much for that one. Okay, question number 2. What's your best advice for finding a doctor healthcare team?
Well, one thing that's always been helpful with me is that I talk to people in my network. I generally talk to my sisters and my close friends, and I ask them for recommendations for the doctors that they see. And generally, if they've had positive experience with those doctors, I'm more than likely going to give those doctors a try. And I've had positive experience with those doctors. So hearing from the patients who have already been under that doctor's care will tell you a lot about the physician that you're going to see. So I would say check with your network and get a recommendation on the doctors that are already practicing in your area, and find out if this is a good fit for you.
All right, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the third and final question is, what's the best health wellness advice you've been given by a family member or friend?
Well, when I was younger, the most important thing my mother told me is to make sure I stay on top of all my preventative care, to make sure I go to get all my annual visits on time, and to not hesitate, not to procrastinate on any of that. And I'm very thankful for that advice. So I would pass that on to everyone. When you reach certain age, certain milestones, go get checked out because, again, early intervention is key with everything.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us today.
It is my pleasure.
We look forward to the program and everything, and just thank you a lot for sharing everything with us.
Well, thank you. Thank you for everything you do for the town of Dumfries. Again, it's always a pleasure being with you.
You're welcome.
My name is Kim B. Miller, and I'm the Poet Laureate of Prince William County, Manassas, and Manassas Park, Virginia. I am the first African American Poet Laureate for PWC. Today, I will be doing haiku. Here's a brief explanation as to what a haiku is.
A haiku is a Japanese poem consisting of 3 lines, 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. Haiku are only on nature. Senryu follow the same exact format, but they can be on any subject. Haiku is both singular and plural.
Haiku. Though it ends in S, happiness is not plural. All you need is you.
Haiku. Stop cutting people off 'cause they didn't check on you when they were hurting.
Now, before each haiku, I will say haiku. That's not mandatory. It's just something I like to do. Haiku. Red, black, and green are not the color of strength. Black don't need no sidekicks. Haiku.
You do realize that Martin's dream was not the speech, but real change, right?
Haiku. It's February, so it's time for blacks to be history again. Haiku. Media sound bites cannot define black love. Don't ask Google either.
Haiku. Stop talking about cutting people off. You know your knife ain't that sharp.
Kimism. You can't be the answer to someone's prayer if your heart is hurting so bad that the lyrics to someone else's song makes your song non-existent.
Haiku. They think you're a walking coupon because you keep discounting your worth.
Haiku. Some of you are blaming yourself for being cut by broken people.
Honorable Mayor Wood and the Dumfries community, I am honored for the invitation to participate in this year's Black History program. As you have heard, this year's focus is on health and wellness in the Black community, a topic near and dear to my heart and my lifelong devotion as a healthcare provider. Healthcare disparities towards Blacks have been centered around the inequalities rooted in biases throughout the healthcare system. Dumfries is committed to partnering with its residents, healthcare providers, local churches, civic organizations, local businesses, political leaders, and community leaders to improve healthcare. To establish this goal, there must be an increased emphasis on public awareness of the importance of prevention, early detection, medical screening, and treatment. Health disparities have historically stemmed from a lack of access to health care. Healthcare reform has undergone many modifications and has seen much improvement. However, there is still work to be done. Data USA reported in 2019, 87.7% of the Dumfries population has health coverage. Now that is fantastic. Please continue to encourage those individuals without health coverage to turn to their local health resources to learn what is available for their families. Nevertheless, one of the keys to a healthy community is taking advantage of your health coverage, starting with an annual physical exam. As I mentioned earlier, prevention, early detection, medical screening, and treatment are essential components of prioritizing our health and wellness. It is critical to understand chronic conditions that impact our health. Some chronic conditions affecting our Black communities are high blood pressure, diabetes, stroke, heart disease, substance abuse, depression, and mental health conditions. These conditions are killing Blacks at a faster rate than any other nationality. Therefore, we must remain vigilant in assisting the 28.5% Black population in Dumfries in identifying any possible chronic conditions. I encourage the Black community to gain knowledge of their family history. This information is critical in the early detection of chronic diseases that may be affecting your health. Early detection aims to guide you in implementing lifestyle changes, reduce the risk of developing the disease, or detect the disease early enough to implement effective treatment. Secondly, it is essential to partner with your healthcare provider regarding the appropriate time and frequency of screening tests based on your age, overall medical conditions, and family history. If a chronic disease has been detected, ensure you follow the treatment plan outlined by your healthcare provider. Treatment plans are essential in managing your condition. I encourage you to have an open communication with your healthcare provider. It's not uncommon for patients to experience a medication side effect and stop taking their medication before speaking with their healthcare provider to discuss an alternative treatment. Lack of treatment places you at risk for an adverse health outcome. Lastly, it is also essential to be aware of your risk factors that may be negatively impacting your health. Some common risk factors include, but are not limited to, use of tobacco, including secondhand smoke, substance abuse, excessive alcohol consumption, lack of physical activity, and overweight and obesity, and poor nutrition. Today, I'm writing you a prescription to place yourself as a priority. Identify your risk factors and adopt a new lifestyle that will positively impact your overall health and wellness. If you are unsure how to implement changes to eliminate or manage your risk factors, partner with your healthcare provider and use your local resources. In my final closing remarks, I would like to discuss mental health awareness. I'm aware that typically this topic has a negative stigma, especially in our Black communities. Therefore, it's frequently dismissed, hidden, and not discussed. According to the Center for Disease Control, CDC, the definition of mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being, which affects how we think, feel, or act. Our mental health is an integral part of our overall health and wellness. Let's look at a few early warning signs of mental health illness. Eating or sleeping too much or too little. Pulling away from people. Having low or no energy. Feeling numb or like nothing matters. Feeling hopeless or helpless. With the additional strain and the negative impact the pandemic has caused on our nation, it's fitting to bring attention to this topic. People are experiencing COVID burnout, Zoom fatigue, isolation, and grieving the death of friends and family. This causes anger, depression, and even suicide at an alarmingly higher rate than average. As we engage with others through our new norm, I encourage you to pay attention to what people are not saying. I'm sure you have heard about the recent suicides of celebrities, Mr. Alexander Jr., the son of Regina King, and Miss Chris, former Miss America. A few tips to consider when dealing with mental illness. Stay connected with others. Develop coping skills. Don't be afraid to express how you feel. If you or someone you know is experiencing any of the above warning signs, or you just don't feel normal, please don't suffer in silence. Please seek professional help. It has been my pleasure to be part of this outstanding Black History program as we focus on the health and wellness of our Black communities. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or if you would just like to continue this conversation. Thank you and have a great evening.
Hey, welcome back. I hope you've enjoyed the show today. My name is Mayor Derrick Wood, again, on behalf of the entire town of Dumfries Town Council, Vice Mayor Monet Nickerson, Councilman Sean Pete, Councilwoman Selonia Miles, Councilwoman Sydney Neville, Councilman Brian Fields, and Councilman Tyrone Brown. We want to thank y'all for taking time out today to watch the Town of Dumfries annual Black History program. I want to acknowledge some of the people who also participated, who were elected officials. Our representative, Gerry Connolly, thank you for those remarks and those words you sent in. Senator Mark Warner, we thank you for participating. Our very own Potomac District Supervisor, Andrea Bailey, we thank you. And the NAACP's own, the Reverend Cozy Bailey, thank you all for participating in today's program. I'm so excited by the people who spoke and performed today. That Divine Inspiration dance crew, they always never cease to amaze me. Caprice Piper, what she's doing with those young ladies and how she's cultivating culture and dance and really making them to be thriving members of our community. I thank you for your passion and what you're doing for those young ladies. Both my daughters participated. The Vice Mayor's daughter also participated in that program. And if you can find it in your heart to contribute and continue to sow into what they're doing, that program will be able to go so far. And I think you can find them in Potomac Mills now. They have a corner booth and they need a lot of our support. To our pianist, Miss Rudene Jones, that rendition on the piano of How Great Thou Art, it was so much reminiscent of my grandmother singing in the kitchen. How great thou art. I mean, I really felt my ancestors in that. And I think that's what these programs are designed to do, to get a story and take you back in history so you can feel like you're in that moment. Thank you for what you did on those black and white keys to make us feel that. To our poet, those haikus, every single year, you never cease to amaze me with those haikus. I hope you can feel me snapping through your computer screen, because I was definitely snapping as you were saying, especially that one about Martin and how Martin, y'all thought it was about the dream, but for Martin, it was about the change and about the revolution he was creating. Thank you for always accepting the invitation to come out and support the town of Dumfries. To our panelists who spoke on health and wellness, we thank you for your participation. And more importantly, we thank each and every one of you for watching, because without you watching and engaging, and your family and your friends, and I know that you're not going to keep this a secret. You're about to share this video. You're about to post it all on your social media page. So I thank you for watching the town of Dumfries. Remember, we're the oldest continuously chartered town in the state of Virginia. And we thank you for just tuning into this rich history that we have to share with you. See you next year.
But they don't know you like we do. There is power in your name, yeah.
We've heard that there is no way